Hey loves, it's me, Love Jones. I am back with another one. I just want to see what's in the energy right now, y'all. Know what's in y'all, so they know what's in mine. Got a bunch of misled wannabes out here in the world that don't know their place. People move off money too much. And they let all their little morals go out the door and then they forget who they are. Not who they used to be, y'all, but who they are. And they don't know the difference between who they are and who they aren't. And that's what it comes down to. These people. Speaking of money, business, barter. Excuse me. You got a bunch of people around here being paid to sabotage people. And they have this nerve to call themselves divine names. Imagine that, y'all. It's bad enough that the regular wannabes want to do it. But you call yourself a divine name and you act like a devil. You act like a demon. You do whatever it is that you paid to do. We call them do boys. That's not that's not a divine type of energy. Not only that, you seem to have people who are stealing. I got this truck coming behind me, y'all. A wise man kept staring at me. And I don't know why the martyr truck lady back there seemed to be taking pictures when she walked outside trying to show her environment of the gas station. Imagine that. Martyr bus driver back there driving a little short bus. Anyway, got a bunch of people around here who are stealing. They're stealing someone's money, trying to keep them down, and they paying other people to help them. Funny part about it is people who are up are being paid. And so I'm willing to bet you it's people in a certain type of industry that the person who they are working so hard to steal from and keep down is supposed to be in. So it's just so funny. I was just listening to a reading. A matter of fact, I wasn't even listening to that when I just read it. And it was saying something about somebody's, I'm going to go listen to it later on. Somebody stealing money and someone's creative ideas. And so they stealing, they're not only stealing money, they stealing your creativity around here. Imagine that. You know, when you're in your Christ-like consciousness or a divine state as a god or a goddess, you have your own creativity, right? You have your own money, not only that. And it wouldn't be something you had to do compromising in order to get your own money. Because God take care of his people just like the devil take care of theirs. But so many people out here in this wannabe type of energy where they want to be certain things, but they don't want to do the work to get there. And so those are the ones who do compromising things. Those are the ones who lack integrity. Those are the ones that go against their morals if they were taught to have any. Hmm. And so the whole thing this day, I was about to say this morning and today at the same time. The whole thing is it still morning? I think it's still morning, y'all. Yeah, it's still morning. For another hour, another 50 minutes. I think the theme of this reading is going to be money, business. This card even says barter. And what bartering is like trading. Remember, I just said people were being paid to do certain things, to say certain things. You know, certain people hold themselves in such high regard, you would think certain things they would turn down. Certain things they wouldn't do. For money, anyway. You think the respect, integrity will be on a much higher level than a little money that they could receive, because again, God takes care of his people as well as the devil take care of his people. But these people, they wouldn't know that because they don't have relationships with God. Imagine that. So a lot of times they think they are God. Not just a God, but they think they are God. And so they'll work with the cowards and the thieves and the liars. I like to say, as the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. And so that's what it makes them. How are you any different from the cowards, the thieves, and the liars out there in the world? I don't think you are. I think you're on the same level as them. And what you want to be, you only want to be, but you don't want to put in the work. And so you're never going to be. Material happiness. It's all some people are worried about. Money, material happiness. And I was just sitting up here thinking, about that. You know, people in general will do the most compromising things for money, for material happiness. And then they call themselves these divine things, but they don't know anything about the spiritual happiness. They don't know anything about the spiritual knowledge. They don't know anything about the spiritual world at all. They have no idea what's going to happen when they leave here, and they're not concerned because they're only concerned as what it's like while they're here. But if you concerned yourself at all within, then you would be preparing yourself while you are here. Because again, this material happiness can be achieved without compromising yourself. And it's so crazy to me that when material happiness is achieved without compromising your morals, without compromising your integrity, by doing things the right way, by building a relationship with God Himself, instead of thinking you are one. Um, and people would go out their way to try to steal it from you. And you would have these kind of problems where you have these devils, literally these demons out here in the world who are going against everything because you're doing it the right way and they're used to doing it the quick way. And so they're so quick to try to tear you down, to try to make you feel less than when they've compromised their whole lives in order to even be on your level. Imagine that. And so you've done everything the right way to get on a certain level, and then you have it stolen from you when these people have shortcut everything, done most things wrong to get on a certain level, and for some reason they think they're up here while you're down here after what you should have is being stolen from you, and they contributing to stealing it from you. They contribute to your lack in every way, but for some reason they think they're held at a higher standard with you. And it's funny because the only thing they actually have is the material wealth. The only thing they have is the material stuff. They have nothing else. The knowledge, the wisdom, morals, integrity, it's all gone. A lot of times, even their sexuality is gone. It's gone. It went out the door. You had to compromise yourself in order to get with what you got, to get what you have. And now all of a sudden you think you're up here, and you come after people who you feel like are down here because they don't have what you've worked to steal from them. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's just so funny to see people live in this image in their own illusions, like they somehow fit the bill. It's so sad to see these inanimate objects. A lot of times they end up having to buy love because they're not being who they truly are, because they have to do what they have to do to get to a certain level in life, and that they compromise on all the good things about them, and so it's nothing left but negative. And so who do you get? Somebody just like you, somebody living in that same delusion or illusions that you're living in, but in their mind at least they have someone. And to me it's just so backwards, it's so stupid, it's so ignorant. Because when you include God in things and you do things the right way, you can have all of that. And the real thing, you can be real. You can be who you are. You attract people who are who they are. You can have the money, the material things. You can have the power. You can even have the respect. You may not get it from the wannabes. And that's the problem a lot of people have, a lot of us have, because we are given these things. Some of us have worked our way up into having certain things, to being on a certain level. Some of us have been left things to make sure that we were able to have certain things, to do certain things with. And then you have the wannabes in life who click up together and they steal it. They try to knock you down out of your place that you've worked to be in. You didn't sacrifice for. At least you didn't sacrifice people. You didn't sacrifice all the good characteristics about yourself to be in the position that you're in. You sacrifice all the right things. And so God gave it to you the right way, but they'll go out their way to try to steal it from you. And these are pathetic people. But it's so many of them, and they all come together to do certain things, and it's sad. It's like, where are the real women, the real men in the world? Because right now we have a lack of them. And a lot of times they're in these positions of power, not because that's where they deserve to be, but because they've compromised enough to where they were able to be put in these positions by other materialistic people. And how dare you act like you're more than when you faked your whole way through life, when you faked your whole way into the positions that you're in, when you faked your whole life to get the money that you have. How dare you act like you're more than? Because as far as I'm concerned, you're like the bottom of the barrel. For people who don't look at you for what you have. I just wanted to get that out the way. So anyway, got these materialistic people here. Material happiness. Says a good marriage, content. I feel like this is about material happiness. Business, barter. Excuse me, y'all. Somebody definitely did something in business, traded something with someone. We got innocence right here. Could have traded their innocence to get involved with something they shouldn't have been involved in. Um, they could be coming for someone else's innocence. They could have received some type of money to be coming for someone else's innocence for material gain. Again, how dare you come for someone who's actually done the work while you lack in every area of life other than the material things. But that's what we have here. And then they want to be called these divine names, like that's what they measure up to be. Yeah, maybe in your home with your inanimate objects. Destiny, fortune, that success, luck, and happiness here. I feel like that's what's about to come in for someone. If you've been waiting for whatever this is to come in, like if you felt like you've been working hard and you have people who in the background maybe trying to destroy you, maybe doing things to your crops, you're planting seeds in places, and then people coming behind you trying to uproot your seeds, pouring poison and stuff you waiting to grow, talking down on things. It's funny, y'all, because they actually did a study. When you talk good to plants, they grow faster. When you talk negatively to plants, they grow slower, sometimes not growing at all. I feel like that's what people may have been doing here. A lot of bringing someone down. Look at the way he's standing up and looking down. It's like they did a lot of bringing someone down here for their gain. For their gain, they had to talk down on you for their gain in order for them to have the success that they have. That big red flag right there. It's like you going about this all wrong, but you don't know any better. And you'll have the nerve to be in positions where people listen to you because they think you know better, because you have the money. It's unfortunate. For everybody that's listening to that BS, it's unfortunate. But the fortunate thing is, whatever this is that's happening could have been part of your destiny. This could have been what you are here to do. Bring out these little demons in people. Allow people to reveal themselves, to show who they truly are inside, and not the names that they give themselves, and not the images that they try to put out there for people to see, when they are really one true thing behind closed doors in God's eyes, and they pretend as if they're another thing. So if you feel like you've been waiting on something here to come through and it wasn't, it's probably because it was being sabotaged in the background by some people who can't measure up. And so they have to do what they have to do to get money. And what they're doing is working with the people who don't want to see you win. These are people who want what it is that you have, or what it is you have potential of getting. People that have looked into your future and they know what you're destined for. They know what was in your destiny. And they wanted this for themselves. But they don't know how to correct themselves enough to be able to receive that from God. And so they have to do the devil's work in order to try to take it from you, in order to try to get on this level and get what it is that you're supposed to have somehow. So you have a lot of lying, a lot of thieving, a lot of manipulation done here, probably a lot of bribery done, paying people off to do things. And again, I say, birds of a feather flock together. These are people who are beneath you, not because that's where you put them, but because that's where they put themselves. Because they don't work on themselves. They just come for the people who have worked on themselves, who have done the work. And so that's what makes them less than. Because that's where they choose to be less than. But there's so many of them. Don't forget, they're gonna act like they up here and you down here. This is what they want, the image they want to give to everybody. When the truth be told, it's the exact opposite. Especially when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in God's eyes. Because what does God say? He's gonna make your enemies your footstool. Your footstool ain't over your head. You can step on it if it was over you. Imagine that. So instead of these people talking down on you and saying certain things to try to belittle you and make you feel less than, they're actually going to be the catalyst that lifts you up. This is going to be what what helps you in life. Them coming for you is going to be exactly what you need in order to continue doing whatever this is that you were doing, because you had to been doing something, creating something. These books in people's hands, yeah, you have been doing something, some type of money, some type of business, again, some type of creativity that you were doing. People feel like they want for themselves, but all they did is put enough eyes on you to where you can go off and be successful, and put enough eyes on themselves for people to see who they really are. And so it's going to be really easy once people actually get a chance to see the difference between right and wrong, since a lot of people act like they don't know. It's going to be very easy for a lot of people to choose a side when people let their true colors show. A lot of times they fake, again, they bring forth an image to certain people, illusions to certain people, fakeness to certain people. And those people aren't able to make educated decisions about which way they want to go, because you have people who are lying about themselves and they lie about others as well. But I feel like something's being done to where people's truths are coming out, who they truly are, how they truly are. And if you've been working on things to maybe put you in the spotlight or in a certain industry, that's what's about to come to you. Because these enemies, again, they're going to be major footstools. And so they can sit in the background and do all the black magic, all the spell work that they want to do. Because people are going to see them for who they are. People already see them for who they are. As you can see, these are angels here. And these are also people who are all over this world, all over the world, who are taking notes and seeing what it is happening. So a lot of these people who think they're doing stuff and getting away with it, they're not. A lot of these people who think this wheel is turned in their favor, it won't be for long. That's because things are just getting into place. It's just getting into place. And so you'll end up getting exactly what you deserve, and they'll end up getting exactly what they deserve, because you reap what you've sown. And if you're out here sowing seeds of positivity and doing positive things to lift people up, and they're out here doing sowing seeds of negativity and doing negative things to put people down, then that's where they're going to end up down. Now, whether that's down financially or down in a grave or down in a jail, that's for God to know. But the seeds of you that you've been sowing has caused you to be lifted up. And while they're down, you're going to use them as your footstools and step up into the position that you're supposed to be in, because they're stealing and they're trying to knock you down so that you won't be in this position, because they know what you're capable of. Once you're able to speak to people the way they are able to speak to people, once you have access to the crowds that they have access to, then it's a lot of change that you can make versus the garbage that they put out. That's making no difference at all to people. Might give you a good laugh. That's it. And so I feel like whatever this is you've been growing, whatever it is you've been trying to do, you're going to end up having a lot of influence over a lot of people. I feel like you already have a lot of influence over a lot of people, but these people won't allow you to step fully into your power. And so they're doing stuff to try to knock you down, whether that's your self esteem, whether it's your finances. They're stealing from you, and they're saying and doing things to try to keep you down at a certain level. Because once you get up, the truth is they're going to be beneath you. The truth is they're beneath you now in all characteristics other than financially. And it's because people have been stealing from you. That's because you don't have what it is you were supposed to have. You don't have what it is that God gave you a long time ago. It's because people are working to keep you from it, because they know once you get it, people are going to be able to see what's real and what's fake. Removal, delay, division. Dispersion. I feel like that's what someone's been doing in the background. They've worked to create this delay for you. They've worked to create this division between you and probably the people that you were there to help, the people you were maybe even supposed to have been working with. They've worked to create this division between you and them because they want you to be looked at and viewed in a certain way. And because these people don't know any better, they've allowed this. Because these people chose material happiness, property in which they've done several times over again, chose the material things. They can't see this, but this is what's happening right now. Someone is working to create a division between you and other people so that when you do get into that position, you're going to have a lot of enemies who are who have a certain status about themselves, but that's because they made themselves your enemies by coming after you. That's because they've taken the dollar while lacking intelligence. That's because they chose to do what brought them the money, the material happiness, versus having morals and integrity about what it is that they were doing. I even see dispersion here. I feel like whatever they've worked to create a delay for you, and this could have even been a removal. I don't know. This could be a removal, y'all. Whatever this is, the money that you were supposed to have, I feel like people are dividing it up amongst themselves. Again, but they call themselves divine names. It's being divided up. It's being given out to people to misuse you, to abuse you, to talk down on you, to create this chaos, to make sure you don't have any growth. And it may be even being used to travel the world. It's meant to gain material things. And so this income, this money that you were supposed to have, they've done a lot with it. Or a lot to keep you away from it. Again, these are wannabes, and they're never going to be until they actually put in the work for themselves. But they're not putting in the work because they find it easier. These are people who are lazy and they lack creativity because they're not going to the right person. As long as you're doing the right thing, God is going to pour certain things into you. Your spirit guides, the angels, are going to help you to be successful in certain things. They're going to pour things into you. I like to say I have unlimited creativity because the source that I'm dipping into is unlimited. These people not going to the same source. And so they look to other people to give them what it is that they have. And that's why they're having to compromise because of it. When if they're going to the right source, then their creativity, their money, be infinite. You'll have what you need every time you need it. They don't work like that. These are people who are lazy. They like things done the quick way, and so they'll sabotage somebody else. They'll sabotage themselves. They'll make themselves look like a fool because that's what you got to do, right? That's what you got to do. They would go against their own people. They would lie. They would steal. They use their bodies. Not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to in order to get to where they're going. Both men and women. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Both men and women. But that's about to come to an end. That's about to come to an end. Judgment's being called on this. Change of position, renewal, outcome. Judgment's being called on this. Somebody that was participating in this may even have some type of change of heart, but I feel like more so like judgment is being called on this. And I've been saying for the last few days in my readings that a lot of people are going to be paying for what it is they've done, whether they knew what they were doing or whether they didn't realize what they were doing, because we all old enough to know right from wrong, and you should have done your research. You shouldn't have agreed to doing something without knowing what it is you were going to agree to. Now, the devil is sneaky, and you're never going to get the when you're dealing with that kind of person, when you're dealing with that kind of entity, when you're dealing with that kind of being. Are behind us, there's sickness, loss right here, disaster. This is also self confidence for someone. A lot of people could be about to go through this sickness, loss, pain, physical pain, mental pain, disaster in life. But what does the Bible say? 1,000 will fall at your right side and 10,000 by your hand, or 1,000 will fall at your side and 10,000 by your right hand, but none will come near you. It won't touch you. You will only see. You will only get a chance to see. You'll only watch as people come down out of those positions that other people put them in. God didn't put you there. Other people put you there. Your material things that you like to flash put you there. Look, right behind it, it's another card of loss. Got two cards back to back of loss. It also says theft and abandonment. And you got disaster, sickness, pain right here. And what was I just talking about? Theft. People stealing. Aquarius could have something to do with this. This is people stealing from you. Again, your creativity, your money, and they have other people working with them. I guess they feel like if they can bring you down to a low enough point, then they can get away with stealing. They have so many people on their team. But again, I say birds of a feather flock together. And therefore, a whole lot of people are about to experience this loss. It's not just a loss that they're creating for you. This is not just the public humiliation that they try to create for you. This is what's about to come for them too. And unfortunately, a lot of them are already in their careers. A lot of them have already reached the peak of their careers. As much as they're going to do, that's it for them. The next step after this is to go home and sit down and pass the baton. So imagine, right, when you think you're about to get off scot-free, it all comes down, and it all comes tumbling down. Speaking of imagination, this card is a card of an imagination. It's also a card of disgust. And something's coming in fast. Something's coming in fast. An ending to this corruption. An ending to this Ten of Swords. A reversal of this Ten of Swords. So where you feel like you've been doing this to someone in order to get away with stealing from them and trying to be like them in the process, now it's going to be done to you and your millions. And so for y'all out here that like to be do-boys or minions for people, I would suggest you take your time and you do a little research on things before you agree to certain things. And so I'm going to end it here, y'all. I'll be back.